Hi guys, Swansea City here, back again for a video on the channel. Now, apologies I'm outside, just finished work. Now, 5 AM start this morning. I was thinking, right, time I come out of work, long shift, 8 hours. Kim Hellberg will be done, we'll record a video, be excited ahead of Bristol City. But no, Kim Hellberg snaked, declined, joined the championship rival in Middlesbrough. Now, I'm gutted, really. We had an interview with him in the summer, decided to give Sheehan the job. Obviously, gone back in for him this time round. Sheehan's been sacked, and after talks with Tom Gorange, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, but in the Swans board anyway, over the weekend in London, he's going to Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough snooped in at the last minute. Now, I don't blame him for going to Middlesbrough. Look, Middlesbrough, decent sized club of the championship, way bigger than us, 100%. There's a population, I think it's pretty similar to Swansea and Middlesbrough. Not massive in terms of the difference in, cities. But, look, Middlesbrough second in the league. So got some very, very talented players. And, of course, probably the big thing is the budget. Borough will have a better budget than us. So, look, he's gone to Middlesbrough. Do I blame him? No. Do I think he's taken a little bit of the mick? Slightly. Look, I don't blame him. Obviously, he's got a young family from what I've been reading. Obviously, he's been coaching over in Sweden for a long time now. So, obviously, it's a big decision for his family to make the move over to, I'm just going to say England because it's easier. Championship, if you get what I mean, anyway. So, obviously, a big decision for him. Looked like it was all going to be sorted. Reports yesterday from Football League World, which is a pretty reliable source for the championship, saying it's all basically done. And then I've come out of work to see that Middlesbrough are going to get him. So, I'm gutted, really. Really, really gutted, because we obviously have spent a long time to get this done. Had interviews with him in the summer. But, again, you got to look at it from his point of view. A club's interested in you in the summer. They pick a guy with virtually no experience as a manager to take charge of your club. So you've got beaten by, let's just say, a caretaker. They've come back around, and then a bigger club wants you. You're going to go to the bigger club, aren't you? So I'm not going to wish him very well, because I'm really annoyed at the moment. But I think, Middlesbrough got a great appointment there. But look, for Swansea, it's a big, big blow. But again, if we made this appointment in the summer, would we be sitting 18th right now with his style of play and the players we've got on show? Probably not. So let me know your thoughts, Middlesbrough. Enjoy sweet, bitter Middlesbrough. Gutted. No, but look, Middlesbrough are a very good club. We've got some very good players, and I think he'll probably do well there. But, I just thought with our Swedish links, a lot of, European pedigree and worldwide players in our 11 this year in particular, I thought he'd like to thrive with our experience. But the problem now is, I know his video's not like scripted or anything, but it's just my real emotion. Now, let's go to another part of this video then. Russell Martin bet and suspended to rejoin Swansea City. Oh my God. We just got no ambition, have we? We've just got no ambition. He did an okay job at Swansea, but people overstimulate the Cardiff results. Look, fantastic beating Cardiff. I absolutely love Russell Martin for that. He'll go down in history for Swansea City for beating Cardiff 4 times in a row, double. But there is also another 44 games in a league season, other than the 2 South Wales derbies, and the vision of going forward at times, oh my word, we couldn't defend set pieces under him. We were shipping goals constantly. His agenda for Andy Fisher was getting beyond a joke. He should have been dropped a long time ago. He was playing 5 at the back with players who can't play in positions, playing players out of position. He throws Jay Fulton out the team for a long, long time. This was when Jay Fulton was actually still a decent player. And obviously he brought Fulton back in. But the thing about Martin, which, really, really annoys me, is if anyone remembers that game against Reading, 2-0 down against Paul Ince's Reading, by the way. Paul Ince, I know. And we won 3-2. Jay Fulton lines up a shot from 25 yards. Martin, don't shoot. And he scores. Do I want that as a man? Do I want that man as a manager again for us? No. He's not letting players shoot from 25 yards. And he scored. It's laughable, really. I can't believe he said that after the game. At least he's honest, I guess. But, not encouraging your players to shoot from 25 yards out is a joke. And you know, he did get jailed out a lot of times by Joel Pro's individual quality, and we haven't got that individual quality this season. Obviously, Podnick's chipped in with a few goals, but he is not the level of Joel Pro. Same with Obafemi. You know, he really started to play well under Martin, but, you know, you look at Martin's recent experience, probably the worst managerial appointment in Rangers history. Obviously, there'll be a few Swans fans who are pro-Rangers as well, so obviously you guys will be able to let me know a bit more. But yeah, from what I've been seeing, he wasn't wanted by Rangers fans, and let's be honest, the SPFL, the Scottish Premier Football League, the quality in that division, let's be honest, is not very good at all. And, you know, how many league games did he win? I think it was 1 in the last minute. Man, I just don't know. We just show a real lack of ambition. That's Southampton. Look, he did a decent job. Well, I say decent. I'll be honest now. He did a very good job in the Championship of Southampton. We've got to realise Southampton they had one of the best teams in the league. They're supposed to be doing that. But that's not taking the fact that Martin did a good job. But again, the stubbornness of Russell Martin. They got to the Premier League, and he just thinks they can play that way. They got battered. Now, if he changed it after a few weeks, realising, right, let's just be solid, competitive, let's try and build on from the defence, exactly what Burnley, Leeds and Sunderland have done this season. You know, let's just be defensively solid. We can nick a goal, great. A point is better than nothing. No, Martin, you 2-0, 3-0, 4-0 down. No, we're still going to play the same way. Just pure stubbornness, and you don't want managers like that for me, unless you're the elite of the elite. You know, you've really got to adapt to your game, and yeah, man, if he rejoins Swansea, then I'm sorry, but he's going to have to hit the ground running, because there's no process. I hate that word in football, process. Did Reggie Labrie need a process at Sunderland last season? No. Did Rob Edwards need a process at Borough before he left this season? No. You know, this word process, it's just a buzzword to give managers more time if it doesn't go right. It's just, look, I don't want to overly say Martin, he's an okay manager, but when we've already had him once, I don't really want him again. Yeah, I know, rude people walking past screaming on the phone. Just exactly what I need today, like with a batting headache. But look, I'll make another video if Martin doesn't get appointed, but he is the current favourite. Benton has been suspended. But the thing which really bugs me, right, is he's approached Swansea, from what I've read. You know, if a manager is approaching your club, they're desperate. They're desperate. I think Martin just needs to take a little bit of time away from the game. Look, he had a really bit of a toxic atmosphere at Rangers. The Rangers fans, look, they did go over the board a little bit. Frustration. Of course, you can show your frustration, but, you know, to block his family and stuff, probably not the best of ideas. But, you know, he's rushing back into a job, and I just think Martin needs to settle down a little bit. Just give it a few months, like Wayne Rooney. Rooney's not rushed into another job at Plymouth. He's just letting it ride, doing other things on the side, and if another opportunity comes, it comes. But, man, you know, people just remember the good times of Martin, but, man, we won, 3-21 in a stage of the season. You know, we were scoring goals, but then we were shipping them for fun. Couldn't defend a set piece. You know, Fisher was making mistake after mistake, yet continued to play him. Oh man, I just don't know. I'm just gutted about Kim Hellberg, really, because I thought he'd be a fantastic appointment, and, you know, his pedigree over in Sweden, so it's a great part of the way he plays. But the thing, again, the difference between Porter to Martin is Porter actually progressed forward with a purpose. With Martin Ball, it's very stagnatic. Said that word wrong, don't care, abuse me if you want. But look, we've seen what Martin's about. He's not going to change his way of playing style. But we probably do need a manager ahead of Bristol City. It's going to be Martin. Now, I was so buzzing for this Kim Hellberg appointment, and he's turned us down. I'm just really just lost for words, really. Look, it's not going to be a worst appointment in history, but, you know, when you've had a manager before, and you just know they're not going to change anything from the last time they were here, it just screams a lack of ambition for me. It really does. Oh, he got promoted to the Premier League. Mate, put me in charge of Celtic and I'd win the bloody league. Let's be serious now. Well, but anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'm sure there'll be Borough fans, pro Russell Martin fans. It's all opinions at the end of the day. Like I said, Martin, he's a decent manager if you give him the right tools. But for me, we haven't got the right tools, so he's never going to work out here. And, you know, he called up the owners, which I'll give him credit for. You know, he says it how it is. But, like I said, the really thing which bugs me off Martin is, you know, if route 1 doesn't work, plan A doesn't work, we'll do plan A again. Then we'll do plan A, plan A, plan A. Where's your plan B? Where's your plan C? When your plan D? And that's one thing I will give Sheehan a little bit of credit for. He did change her at times. He wasn't just, you know, stuck in the same formation and stuff like that. But Martin, we'll see what happens, eh? But anyway, I'm going to shoot off. Probably going to stay off Facebook, Twitter, because I don't want to see any more updates, to be honest. Oh, if you don't laugh, you'll cry, eh, guys? If you don't laugh, we're 18th. We don't need someone now who's just going to be stubborn. We need results. We need someone with fresh ideas. And I guarantee a few of these players now will be thinking, bloody Russell Martin, the man who won one league game with Rangers, the man who got sacked with nearly the worst points tally in Premier League history. Thanks for watching. I need one more chance.